Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the season finale here for the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series, hosted right here on Gran Turismo Sport. And we are live and gathered 14 drivers from 4 different countries here at Autodromo de Interlagos in Brazil. And Timac is on the pole for the first time all season long. His teammate in the Nissan GTR, Juicy J, is going to start in second. Gabe Machine is going to start in third. Marco Lorenzo for Brazil is going to be rolling off in fourth in the BMW, and Jesse Carlson in the NOSSCAR paint job Chevy Corvette rounds out the top 5. The green flag has been shown, the green lights are on, and today we crown a champion. And for you Even Steven fans, he is the points leader coming into this one. He's going to finish in 15th. He is already out of the race and done for the day with some sort of mechanical failure. And Timac, even with a max points day, not close enough in the point standings to catch him and take the championship away. So today's win is going to be all about bragging rights if Timac can do it. And contact there, but Gabe is going to try to take second there in the 07 Audi R8, and he almost did it. Got a little bit out of shape afterwards in those S-bends, and Juicy J is going to take the second place position back, and whoa! And a wild dive bomb move there in the Porsche. Marco Lorenzo, the Brazilian, here in his home country at his home track, is going to take third, and he's in a podium spot. Blood flare. Another Brazilian driver there scored in the 8th place position. Nicolas Ossa running in 11. Cachillo running in 13th. The Argentinian driver, he's driving the Lamborghini. There's a lot of different drivers from a lot of different countries in this race. There is Bowman Nation in the Dale Earnhardt Jr. tribute paint job. And they're all chasing Timac. He's doing everything right. And if he had a chance, a mathematical chance of winning the championship, this is exactly what he would need to be doing, except for that, a big wiggle and a big slide, and he's going to lose the race lead to his teammate, Juicy J. And what a feel-good moment it would be for Juicy J to win today's race. It would be his first career NOSSCAR GT Cup Series win. He started second in this race, and the only one that qualified in front of him is a driver he's beat several times this year, and that's Timac. They've both been very fast all season long. Timac 2 wins this season, second in the point standings. Juicy J third in the point standings. No wins, but a number of podiums. He would love to put a tally in the win column here today. And I'll tell you what though, so would Marco Lorenzo here in his home country, home track advantage, driving the Porsche, a car he is very comfortable driving. It's sliding a little bit. Every now and then it slides out from underneath him, but you can tell that he's got pace, and he's right there in the tire tracks of Juicy J. Gabe is doing a great job putting the pressure on the Brazilian driver, though. Gabe pounding him and not letting him get away. That Audi R8 is fast. Teammate to Even Steven. And after a strong start, and after winning the pole for the first time this season, Timac has dropped back to the 4th place position. Jesse Carlson runs in 5th, and how about Ayrton James? A strong start. And he's driving an Audi R8 as well. A number of top 10s for him this season. And 1 top 5 finish. And looking to make it 2 here if he can in the season finale here in Brazil. Blood Flare in 7th, and Jaggy Marathon in the 8th position. Bowman Nation up 1 spot to 9th. Nicolas Ossa driving the Ford GT rounds out the top 10. Shadow, Crazy Legs, and Rob still on the racetrack as well. 14 drivers started the event, 13 left on the racetrack. They're all chasing Juicy J. Juicy's pretty much locked into 3rd place in the final standings here for this season, and would love to close it out with a win. All of these drivers would really like to go into the off-season knowing that they won a race and that they have a lot to look forward to for the 2022 season. And a phenomenal start for Marco Lorenzo. You can't ask for a better start than this. He qualified outside of the top 5, drove quickly inside of the top 5. He's up there in P2, and he's less than a second behind your race leader. Excuse me, 1.5 that time at the line. And we have a car off the racetrack we're hearing. And we're also hearing that Gabe had some sort of problem. He was up there running in the 3rd place position and has suddenly dropped back from P3 to P6. He's still in line with that group of cars, the 2nd group of cars, I would call it, on the racetrack. It's now being led by Tymac, who scored in 3rd. But yeah, that is a heartbreaker for Gabe. He was off to a great start, looking for his best finish of the season. He ran almost full-time in the NOSSCAR Super GT Series in those GR1 cars and had high hopes for today's race here in Brazil. Ayrton has worked his way inside the top 5. Jesse Carlson in the NOSSCAR Tribute car in that Chevy Corvette, he has worked his way up to 4th, having a great start to this race. And it was a feel-good moment for Jesse this season when he found victory lane at the Nürburgring Nordschleife track. It was his 2nd career NOSSCAR GT Cup Series victory, 1st of the season, 1st and only, and it was his first one on a road course as well. Because much like Tymac, Jesse Carlson's first career GT Cup win came at an oval, and it came at the same track as well, Blue Moon Bay Speedway. And that win for Jesse was back just last year in 2020. Tymac, of course, was the year before in 2019. And both drivers have had a very strong season this season. Tymac 3rd in this race, 2nd in the points. Jesse Carlson 4th on the track, 4th in the point standings coming into this one. Ayrton James in that Audi R8. Strong start. He's a Triple Crown winner on the NASCAR Heat Games in NOSSCAR, just like Jesse Carlson is. And just like Shadow is as well. Shadow scored in 9th in that Ferrari. 4 different Triple Crown winners from the NASCAR Heat Games in today's event. And in the early going here, the Nissan GTR is looking strong. The Audi R8s are looking strong. The Chevy Corvettes look pretty good as well. Bowman Nation is up another spot. He's up to 8th in that number 88 Chevy Corvette. And Jesse Carlson, his teammate, still up there in the top 5 and really knocking on the door of a podium spot. Battle for the lead looks like this. Marco Lorenzo doing everything he can to close the gap on Juicy J, and if he can get about, I don't know, another 2 or 3 car lengths closer, he should be able to make a move in one of these heavy braking zones, one of these passing zones. There's pretty much 2 or 3 sections of this racetrack where you can use the draft to your advantage and slingshot your opponent, gain some ground, and then carry more speed than them into the next turn, get alongside them, complete that pass. And they just left one of those areas, but now they're coming up on another as well. It's the main straightaway, the main stretch. We can confirm 8 cars left on the lead lap. We've had some attrition in this one. Started with 14 drivers from 4 different countries, and we are down to 9, folks. UCJ still your leader. Marco Lorenzo doing everything he can to change that here on his home track. And now 7 cars, folks, remain on the lead lap. And while all of this is going on, it's actually Tymac in the number 32 Nissan GTR that's clicking off the quickest laps on the racetrack, and he's gained a little bit of ground on the top 2. Nothing significant, but enough to the point where he's been able to drive away from Jesse Carlson a little bit. And it's become a 3-car group up at the front, and the second group of cars is 4th, 5th, and 6th here. And you can see it's right by Jesse Carlson in that Chevy Corvette. ZJ feeling the pressure a little bit from Marco Lorenzo. Marco getting closer in the Porsche. Down the second straightaway of the racetrack and heading into the left-hand turn before they go in through the infield section of this track. A lot of history here at this circuit, and a lot of these drivers really enjoy coming here. It's a simple track. It's nothing very long in time duration or length, so it's easy to memorize. You can see the entire field of cars while you're racing in the infield section. It's a very fun atmosphere every time they come here. It's a fun racetrack to go to. Guarantee you those are the thoughts exactly for Juicy J. These are the most laps he's led in a NOSSCAR GT Cup Series race all season long, and he's looking to hang on and keep doing what he's doing for another 48 more minutes and get that very first NOSSCAR GT Cup Series win. He already won earlier today here at this very racetrack to capture that very first career NOSSCAR Super GT Series win. So he's looking to go back-to-back and sweep the weekend here. Certainly has this place figured out. And if I had to take a guess, I think he'd have this event circled on his calendar for the 2022 season. Marco still using every inch of the racetrack that he possibly can to try to get closer and closer to Juicy J. You can see him put the right side tires of that car all the way out past the white rumble strip out of turn 3 back there. Now up the hill, coming out of turn 5 and going into the swinging right-hand turn of turn 6, and then they will begin the windy section of the infield. And this is where Juicy J gets away a little bit from Marco. And in that last corner, Marco actually gained a little bit as they entered that turn. Looked like he drove really far into the turn and got hard and heavy on those brakes. Could be using his equipment up a little bit. Good race for the lead here in Brazil. It's a good race for 4th as well. Jesse Carlson in that Corvette doing everything he can to keep Gabe behind him. And Gabe has a strong Audi R8 here today, and he's getting closer and closer. And Bowman Nation holds on to the 6th place position in the number 88 Chevy Corvette. There's been some attrition in this race. He had about an 8th place car out of the 14 cars who started this one, and because of the attrition and because of a solid clean start for him, he finds himself up there in 6th, and he's knocking on the door to a top 5 finish here in Brazil. Bowman, of course, former NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series race winner. That came back on NASCAR Heat 3 in 2018, and since then runs full-time every year in all 3 of the Triple Crown Series. And the battle for second is on. In fact, it's pretty much a 3-car battle for the lead. When we get a bit of a wider shot, you'll see exactly what I mean. There you see, yeah, Juicy J, the leader. He's not too far in front of either one of these 2 cars. 2 Nissan GTRs going to battle here with a Porsche, and Marco Lorenzo is the Brazilian meat in the sandwich here at his home track in his home country here on Gran Turismo Sport. He's doing everything he can to park in victory lane. He's driving a great race, but he's under pressure, he's under fire, and going into turn 1, you can see Timac making a bold move to the inside. And there, as I mentioned earlier, there's 2 points or 3 points on this track. You can use the draft, and that's what Timac did. Got a run and made the move. And Lorenzo got out of control there going down the hill after turn 1 and through turns 2 and 3. He gathered it back up and didn't go off course or anything, but he lost some time, and I don't think he's close enough anymore to either one of the GTRs to utilize the draft on these 2 or 3 different straightaways. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but if those 2 cars work together in the draft on the 2 or 3 straightaways, they potentially could drive away from the hometown hero, Marco Lorenzo. And Juicy J, still the race leader, looking strong. Number 18 Nissan GTR has never looked better, actually. And we can tell you that Gabe in the Audi R8 has worked his way around Jesse Carlson in the NOSSCAR pink job. Chevy Corvette there, so Jesse back to 5th. The Corvette's running 5th and 6th on the racetrack. And give a call to the 42 Corvette of Robert Lohman Sr. scored in 7th. And here you see in the Lamborghini, Rob Oglesby is running in the 8th place position. Logging laps and learning lots about the physics and graphics of Gran Turismo Sport, learning about these GR3 cars. And the battle for the lead is on between the 2 Nissan GTR teammates, Juicy J, Timac 11, and both of these drivers guaranteed to finish in the top 3 in the final standings at the end of today. Juicy J taking 3rd, Timac taking 2nd, no matter where they finish. Whether they win, whether they park it right now, it really doesn't matter. That's where they're going to finish. That's how spread some of them were in the point standings coming into today's season finale. And Juicy J would just love to park it in victory lane. Snag that first career GT Cup Series win. And no one will ever forget the photo finish between these 2 drivers here, round 7 of this season at Dragon Trail earlier this year, and now they're still going to have another one here to settle. This time it's in Brazil. And if they get to battling, if they go side by side, if they make contact, if one of them, you know, rides a corner way too wide or way too hard and they get off course and suddenly it's game over for them, Marco Lorenzo is really not that far behind. He's still well within striking distance. The gap is about 3 seconds between he and the race leader Juicy J, but I do think that our nightmares have been realized. I think that he lost the draft with those 2 Nissan GTRs, and now it's really thrown him a curveball, and he's losing time to them the longer that he runs on the racetrack. So now you see him on pit road in the number 9 Porsche. Martini and Adidas sponsor machine back out onto the racetrack with medium tires. He could be considering a long run to the finish from here. And it's a bold strategy, and it's a wild call to pit from where he was. He pretty much had a podium spot locked, but he wants this win. He doesn't mind going off sequence if it means a shot at the victory here today in his home country, his home track, and he's going to come back out onto the racetrack in the 4th place position. I'm just not sure if he's going to be able to make it all the way from here to the end on the fuel that he's got. That's a tall order. That's, you know, that's 40 minutes of racing here on the fuel that he's got in that tank. That's a long way to go. Even getting to the 30-minute mark in a fuel run is quite the accomplishment, and takes a lot of discipline. Juicy J surrenders the race lead, and he's going to come to pit road. Comes to a stop in his pit stall. It's going to be 4 fresh Michelins and a full tank of gas. It's been a solid day for him. Flawless race for him so far in the opening 20 minutes. Qualified 2nd, was running in 1st when he made this stop, and the car is handling real nice. You can tell it's not needing to push as hard as possible to keep the cars behind him. Very few times has he run the tires off into the grass or into the dirt or anything like that. It's been a very smooth race for Juicy J so far. This hands the lead over to his Nissan teammate, and that's Timac 11. The pole sitter for this race, first pole award of the season, and now finds himself back in the lead again. Will need to come to pit road here in just a matter of moments. And Jesse Carlson getting scheduled service, running in 5th. He was in 4th, but now he's going to be coming back out onto the racing surface in P5. This is going to put Gabe in that Audi R8 back up into 4th, and also Robert Lohman Sr. on pit road as well. And the number 42 Chevy Corvette's been an all right day for him. And before the cycle of pit stops, we saw certain drivers battling up there for the lead and in and around for the top spot. And it mostly consisted of Timac, Juicy J, Marco Lorenzo. And you got to wonder what the strategy call here is for Timac. He's still on the racetrack. And if you're going with a two-stop strategy, generally you would go with a 20-minute and 40-minute pit stop strategy in these 1-hour endurance races. But he's still out there and working the 25-minute mark of this race. Could be considering a one-stop strategy, but that's a wild call because Ty's got a shot to win this thing outright based on speed. And if you stay out there longer on these old worn tires, you're definitely not going to be right where you were in terms of the drivers you were racing with when it's all said and done. So when you do this, you risk the opportunity of going out there and winning this race legitimately with speed. He could be going for it. We're working the 26-minute mark of this race, and I don't think he's coming to pit road this time. No, he doesn't. He stays out. It's been the Nissan GTR show here today, and Timac keeping the lead for a little bit longer. This year's Rolex 8 winner in the Super GT class in those GR1 cars. Triple Crown winner on the NASCAR Heat Games, 2 wins for him this season, and second in the point standings coming into tonight. Three GT Cup Series wins in his career. Would love to make it 4 here today. He loves this racetrack. 7 wins for him in the NOSSCAR World Championship, all of which were back in 2018, and 2 of those 7 wins came here at Autodromo de Interlagos. And the first car amongst all the drivers on the two-stop strategy is Juicy J in the number 18 Nissan GTR, and it looks like he's going to hang strong and hang tough with his two-stop call. He's running the quickest lap times of anyone on the racetrack right now, and Timac comes to pit road, surrenders the race lead in the number 32 Molson Canadian Nissan GTR. You can see the NOSSCAR logo there on the quarter panel of that machine. That's what it's all about, folks. Established back in June of 2017. Started on NASCAR 15 on the PlayStation 3 console. Since then, it's grown to over 15 leagues on iRacing and NASCAR Heat 5, Gran Turismo Sport, Wreckfest, and Tony Stewart's All-American Racing. You name it, we're out there. And after Timac's pit stop there, it's a 30-minute mark of the race, and evidently going for that one-stop strategy, Juicy J takes back the race lead here in Brazil. Timac he's gonna get spit out back onto the racetrack in the second place position with about the distance of 4 seconds between himself and the drivers battling for third and fourth right now. That's Gabe Machine in third in the Audi R8, just behind him Marco Lorenzo, the Brazilian driver. His home country, his home track here. Runs in fourth. He's on those medium tires, and he pit at the 20-minute mark of this race. And I don't know, folks, when you go with medium tires, normally you're thinking a long stint, and he might have been thinking run it all the way to the end on the tires and fuel that he has, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it. Here he comes. He's going to surrender fourth, come back to pit road here at the 33-minute mark. And we'll have to see what he does. He goes with medium tires again. He's back out onto the racetrack and back in the action, back in the fight here at Autodromo de Interlagos. And the lead between, the gap rather, between Juicy J and Timac is about 7.5 seconds as they run. Juicy J coming around to complete lap 22 here in this 60-minute endurance race at Autodromo de Interlagos. Round 18 of 18, folks, season finale for the 3rd annual NOSSCAR GT Cup Series season here on Gran Turismo Sport. And we would like to say a congratulations to Even Steven. He's not here in today's race. He had engine troubles earlier. He finished in 15th for this one, but he's going to win the championship for the 2nd time in his career. He is your 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series champion, Even Steven, in that number 15 Audi R8. And even if Timac goes out here and has a max points day, he would beat him by a total of 5 points. And right now, Timac only a couple of points away from having a max points day, so it really would come down to just a handful of points here at the end of it all. But Juicy J, shining bright in the sun here in Brazil, doing everything he possibly can to keep that number 18 Nissan GTR out front and logging competitive lap times. He knows his teammate Timac is on a one-stop strategy. He knows the only way to counter that is to run as hard and as efficient as possible. And if you can gain ground on Ty throughout this stint and the next one, you might be able to be in front of him despite having to make one extra pit stop. If your speeds and lap times can be that much greater than the competition that's only doing the one-stop strategy, sometimes it's good enough to overcome. See how it all unfolds, folks. What I do know is that the fans are really rooting for Marco Lorenzo. He last pit at the 33-minute mark of this race, so I would think that 27 minutes of a stint, that should be good enough, especially on the medium tires. He's running in 5th. He's got nobody hounding him for position. He should be able to save enough in this stint to make it to the end of the race, and that might even be good enough to get him back into the top 3. He might be able to stand on the podium here in his home country and home track of Brazil. As you can see, Gabe in the 07 Audi R8 leaves pit road, comes back onto the racetrack. Marco Lorenzo was able to leapfrog him and take that position away. So if Marco can make it to the end of this race, he should be able to hang on and finish 4th. Unless Gabe can put those soft tires to good use and run him down. He's got 20 minutes to do it. And what a near perfect day it's been for the Nissan GTR team. They're running 1-2 right now. They qualified there as well, but they flip-flopped in running order. Juicy J, the current race leader in that number 18 Caterpillar Nissan GTR, and he's looking strong here, running the quickest lap times on the racetrack and trying to hold on for another 19 minutes in this race to capture that elusive first career NOSSCAR GT Cup Series win. And what a place to do it, folks, and what a way to do it. He won the race earlier today for the NOSSCAR Super GT Series. It was his first win there as well in those GR1 cars. It would be a wild way to end the season by winning both season finales, sweeping the weekend here in Brazil, catch a flight back home, and have a nice holiday. Oh, and there was problems there for Rob in the Lamborghini, that green car. He's running in 7th. He was spun over there in that section of the racetrack, back rolling again, but lost some time there. Might even have a little bit of damage to the front end of that car. As he Carlson, fourth in the points coming into this one with 1 win and looking to hang on to the top 5 or maybe a podium. Would be a solid way for him to end the 2021 GT Cup season. He won it, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, arguably the most difficult circuit on the schedule, definitely the longest circuit on the schedule. Brought a nice NOSSCAR paint job here, tribute paint scheme here to Brazil for the season finale. And maybe a brand new motor under the hood too. He is flying here, logging great lap times. He's actually going to come to pit road though, and that'll be his final pit stop of the race. Juicy J is leaving pit road from what was his final pit stop of the race. Timac is going to take the race lead here in Brazil, and the question is his gap great enough to keep Juicy J behind him, and does he have enough fuel to make it to the end? And the Brazilian fans are on their feet. This puts Marco Lorenzo up into third and back on the podium as they run. Jesse Carlson now scored in 5th after that most recent pit stop. Gabe Machine in the Audi R8 scored in 4th. There's Gabe, not too far behind Marco, but he's not running the same lap times that Marco is. Jesse Carlson just now getting back onto the racetrack, and that's quite the gap he's going to need to overcome with only 16 minutes remaining in this race. Yeah, Jesse has about a 15, it's now showing 17-second gap that he needs to eliminate in order to run down Marco Lorenzo for third. And it is a 25-second gap that separates Timac and Juicy J, the two Nissan GTR teammates. And so Timac has a huge buffer here. He's got a major cushion. He can save all the fuel that he wants, and he can use that huge cushion to his advantage. For example, he's running 132 lap times. He can go ahead and run a couple of 133s and still be plenty fine when it comes to being hounded and challenged by Juicy J. So things are looking good for this year's Rolex 8 winner. Timac could be closing in on his 3rd win of the season and 4th of his career. Time will tell. And the driver on the same strategy with him is the hometown hero, Marco Lorenzo. Slightly newer tires than Timac as well. The problem is he's not gaining any ground on Juicy J, because Juicy has the freshest tires of anybody inside the top 5. And he's getting closer. Gabe in that 4th place position, doing everything he can to run down the driver running in 3rd. There's Marco Lorenzo. And it's a huge deal here in the NOSSCAR GT Cup Series to get a top 3 and stand on the podium for the end ceremony for these races. And Gabe doing what he can to try to get closer and closer to Marco Lorenzo, maybe close enough to use the draft on one of these 3 straightaways and make a move into one of these heavy braking zones. We've seen the Audi R8 do very well under braking and completing those passes all season long with drivers like Ataxia and even Steven and so forth. Marco Lorenzo, whereas he's driving the Porsche, and we haven't seen too many of those make a run here this season, so we don't have too much knowledge and much of a notebook to go with and gauge when it comes to his car and how it's going to perform under pressure in these battles. I do think we are going to have a battle for that 3rd place position before this race is all said and done. Don't think we're going to have one for the lead though. Juicy J, as quick as he's running and as strong and as consistent as he's been all race long, I don't know, guys. He's got under 10 minutes remaining here in Brazil, and I don't think he's going to get there. He's closing the gap, but he's not closing it quick enough. It's over a 20-second gap that separates the two Nissan GTR teammates. And Timac with a master plan again here with a one-stop strategy call here at Autodromo de Interlagos. The season finale here for the 2021 GT Cup season. Looking to hold on for under 8 minutes here. Capture that third win of the season, fourth of his GT Cup career, and for the first time in the Nissan GTR team's history, they're looking good to get their first ever 1-2 finish. And heartbroken, folks. That's exactly how the hometown fans are feeling. Marco Lorenzo has lost the third place spot to Gabe. And Gabe in that Audi R8 with the fresher tires was able to finally run down Marco and complete that pass, and now he's working his way down the front stretch. And there you can tell, you saw a moment ago, that camera shot, Marco not close enough to utilize the draft on this front straightaway or any of the three long enough straightaways for the draft to be used. And so he's going to settle in line into fourth with under 7 minutes remaining, Marco is. And honestly, his hopes for a podium may have just been extinguished. Jesse Carlson got a little bit out of sequence earlier in this race, didn't really have the timing and the right strategy in mind here today for the Brazil event, and as a result finds himself in 5th place. And instead of battling for a podium spot, finds himself off sequence, and he actually is going to need to come to pit road one more time in this race before the end. Well, it's been a wild season. It was the third annual NOSSCAR GT Cup Series season. 18 races. We went all over the world, folks. Blue Moon Bay to Monza to Suzuka Circuit to Alsace Village to Northern Isle Speedway. But we went everywhere, folks. Willow Springs, Mount Panorama for the night race. We went to the Red Bull Ring for the rain race. Every race offered its own unique set of challenges and circumstances for these drivers to adapt to and overcome, and they did just that. The ones who did were rewarded, and they will stand here at the end of the season proud of their accomplishments. Even Steven, of course, being crowned the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series champion here today. And in about another minute here, less than 60 seconds, Timac will come around to claim his third win of the season and will stand second in the final standings at the end of the season. Juicy J, running in second in this race, will stand high and mighty on the podium once again here. A bit of a heartbreaker for him, not getting his first GT Cup Series win of his career this season. But he was able to get that elusive Super GT Series win, so that's a plus and that's a bonus for him. Feather in the cap for Juicy J, the former NOSSCAR champion on NASCAR 15 Victory Edition. And he'll finish third in the final standings here for the GT Cup. Jesse Carlson runs in 5th, and as long as he holds station there in 5th, he's going to claim the 4th place position in the final standings for the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series. And he does it, folks. He won the pole. He got the fastest race lap. Down the front straightaway he goes for the final time. He claims the checkered flag. Timac wins here in Brazil. 3rd win of the season. 4th win of his GT Cup Series career, and he starts the season with a win, finishes it with a win, and he'll finish 2nd in the final standings. Juicy J, his teammate, crosses the line now, and he'll claim 2nd. Led a lot of laps in this one. Ran the 3rd fastest race lap of the event, and he'll finish 3rd in the final standings. What was a breakout year for Juicy J. And for the first time in his GT Cup Series career, Gabe is going to come down the long front stretch here and claim his first career podium finish in the NOSSCAR GT Cup Series, driving that Audi R8, stepping in when even Steven needed a driver, and what a great job he did. The hometown fans on their feet. Marco Lorenzo coming in with a Porsche entry for this event at his home track on Gran Turismo Sport. Was running up there in the podium for quite some time and had all of the fans cheering and excited, and he's going to bring it home in 4th. A very solid and respectful run for that driver. Jesse Carlson in the number 48 Chevy Corvette's going to claim the last spot in the top 5, and we would like to thank all the viewers who tuned in all season long for the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series season hosted here on Gran Turismo Sport. Hope you enjoyed the action as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you and racing out there every week on the tracks. From all of us here at NOSSCAR, once again, congratulations to your 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series champion, Even Steven. He becomes a 2-time champion here tonight. Congratulations to Timac for winning the season finale, and thank you again to all the fans and viewers. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next season.